So the purpose of this is to identify what the most valuable technology in the future is going to be, the technology that's undiscovered, that's going to change everything, and that there will be insane demand for, right? That's how early stage investors in Amazon, NVIDIA, Google, Microsoft did extremely well and had life-changing returns. They bought revolutionary technology when it was as inexpensive and undiscovered as possible. So today we're going to talk about Render, the Render network. Could it be in that class of revolutionary early stage technology? Well, to start, look at these headlines. What do these speak to? NVIDIA chip shortages leave AI startups scrambling for computing power. AI's voracious need for computing power is threatening to overwhelm energy sources. By 2030, the world's data centers are on course to use more electricity than India. NVIDIA's data center GPU sales grow by a stunning 409% on huge demand for AI chips. Microsoft, OpenAI plan $100 billion supercomputer called Stargate. And then customer demand for NVIDIA chips is so far above supply that CEO Jensen Huang had to discuss how fairly the company decides who can buy them. So there is an insane amount of demand for a GPU. The more GPUs you have, the more valuable your AI is going to be, the smarter it's going to be. So it's going to be one of the most valuable resources on the planet. What are GPUs? They're computing power. So what does the Render network provide? The Render network provides near unlimited decentralized GPU computing power for next generation 3D content creation, as well as media, industry, augmented reality, mixed reality, gaming, medical, virtual reality, and yes, machine learning. So we know how much demand there is for GPUs. We know that demand is just going to continue to grow. We know companies like Microsoft are doing everything they can, investing $100 billion in a supercomputer, but we know they're not the only company that's going to be needing these. And so as AI gets more powerful, the demand for GPUs are going to get more and more and more powerful. What does Render Network provide? Unlimited GPU power, right? So clearly very valuable technology, probably the most valuable technology on the planet. Blockchain startup Render surpasses Google, Amazon in GPUs. Now, this was from 2018. This is an old headline. Survey shows platform has 14,000 GPUs. How many GPUs do they have now, right? They continue to grow. That's why they say they can provide unlimited GPUs. Even in the earliest of early stages where the render network is, this is cumulative rendered frames over time of the render network. As of May 2024, they've already rendered 33 million frames, right? Big Hollywood productions are using the render network. Render also has an app that's connected to the Apple ecosystem. It's called Octane X, right? So we have big players already using Render. There's already usage of this valuable software. So we know there's a massive demand. We know whoever has the supply is going to do extremely well. Render has supply. So what else does it have going for it? Well, it has huge connections, a big network already. Stability AI, which is a pretty big player in the AI space. Otoy, which is an organization deeply connected with the Render network itself. Endeavor of William Morris Endeavor and the Render Network joined forces to develop next generation AI models, IP right systems, and open standards powered by decentralized GPU computing. So when finding early stage breakthrough technology, yes, the technology has to be good, but so does the network. So does the adoption of it. So we're seeing powerful people joining Render Network. J.J. Abrams joins Otoy's advisory board. The Star Wars director will join William Morris Endeavor's Ari Manuel and Google's Eric Schmidt on the board. These are some of the most powerful people on the planet. Eric Schmidt is the reason Chainlink is so successful. He's working with the US government to invest in valuable technologies that are going to change everything. He's helped Chainlink integrate with the most powerful institutions on the planet. Now he's part of the Render Network's advisory board. Does not get bigger than this, right? So we have breakthrough, super valuable technology. We have huge connections, powerful players, part of this massive ecosystem and growing ecosystem. And then we have the token, which is the way to invest in this space. So what does the token do? Well, the token has a governance component. While the RNP system is facilitated by the Render Network Foundation. That's the governance system. It's important to reinforce that the community is in the driver's seat using Render Network's native token, RNDR. Anyone can propose or vote on RMPs and make direct contributions to the core base. So it's extremely valuable to have a voting stake in this ecosystem. That's what the token provides, right? Is the token valuable? Another really important question when investing in these assets. Blockchain-based render network token rising after community vote for new burn and mint model. What are the tokenomics of the token? Well, with the burn mint equilibrium model, Render aims to make Render a commodity and deflationary asset. So the way it works is they reward these valuable GPU providers with Render tokens, which are just increasing in value. So more and more of these GPU providers are going to want to be part of this network to acquire Render tokens. That's what fuels the network. But what they're saying is that they're actually going to be burning, destroying forever a portion of the entire supply. So over time, if more of this token is burnt than is minted, it's going to get scarcer and scarcer. It's also just going to get scarcer and scarcer if the inflation slightly outpaces the burn mechanism, because even if inflation is 3, 4, 5% a year, the growth and demand for the asset is obviously going to grow much faster than that. The growth and demand for data warehouses that are going to power GPUs is like 15% a year, right? So there's massive demand for this asset. The more it's used, the more deflationary the token is going to become. And another aspect of these tokens getting more and more scarce and valuable is the emission schedule. In month 1, they gave out 760,000 tokens. In month 60, they're giving out 335,000 tokens, right? Cutting that by half. So similar to Bitcoin, lots of inflation early on, and then the inflation starts to drop, which causes buying pressure, right? As it gets scarcer and scarcer. In year 20, they're going to do 1.8 million render tokens emitted the entire year. So that's like over a little over 100,000 tokens per month. In year 60, they're going to do 190,000 tokens in the full year. That's like 10,000 per month. So over time, the emissions are going to shrink. The token's going to get more and more scarce. The value of the network is going to increase as more and more demand for GPUs continues into the future. Remember, there's already a huge scarcity. That's why Microsoft is investing $100 billion in a supercomputer, because there's nowhere near enough to meet the booming AI demand. So GPUs are going to be the most valuable resource on the planet. That's why NVIDIA is skyrocketing. The Render Network provides unlimited GPUs, huge network, hits on all metrics. So what is the price target? If I had to guess, what happens to Render in the next few years? Well, remember how the goal is to buy the next Amazon, the next Microsoft, the next breakthrough early stage technology that's going to change everything. That's the mission. Well, Amazon.com was the best example of that. And this is the chart of Amazon in 2000, from 2000 to 2010, right? Obviously, super insanely volatile. Early stage investors who could dollar cost average and stay on board and ride through the volatility got extremely well compensated, right? It hit a low of below 50 cents. Now it's $187 per share, right? Well, this is the chart when it was in its early stages, right? We had the massive bubble in 2000, we had the collapse, then we had the value of the shares start to emerge and come up, right? Well, we hit an all-time high in 2007, and then we corrected massively, and there was a vicious sell-off down to like $2 again. What is the Render Network doing? Look at the Render Network chart. We had the bubble in January 2022, just like Amazon had in 2000. Then we had the correction, vicious crypto winter. Now we're starting to emerge. We hit the all-time high, just like Amazon did back here. We hit the all-time high in Render. Amazon corrected from $5 down to $2, right? Look at Render. It hit $11. It's correcting. Now it's 8.7. It's correcting down, shaking people out. Well, what happened after Amazon went through all this volatility, after it corrected massively over and over again? Investors started to get rewarded. It went from $2 up to 11, up to 17, up to 32, up to 40, up to 90, up to 100, up to 170, right? That is the power of revolutionary breakthrough technology. If you can get in early, if you understand how valuable it's going to be. So what is next for Render? Well, from here, if it corrects down to, let's say, $5 or $6, it could 100x from there over time, right? as the token gets scarcer and scarcer, the value of artificial intelligence increases. The value of the render network is just going to increase. So it could 100x from there. It could hit $600 over 20 years. In the next bull run, it could easily hit $100, right? Obviously, this isn't financial advice, but I'm just showing you exactly what is going on with some of these breakthrough technology assets. The window of opportunity only lasts for so long in revolutionary technology. Thank you. We're going to be covering more of these assets. This is not the only valuable crypto asset. It's also not even the only valuable decentralized computing asset. There are other earlier stage ones. So stay tuned. We're going to stay on top of more and more of these assets and just dive in.